We could get a ruling any day now on a lawsuit challenging health care. At least 20 states now questioning whether or not that overhaul is constitutional. And, well, I guess you know who this guy is too, right? He's the judge. Andrew Napolitano, Fox News senior judicial analyst and anchor of Fox Business Network's Freedom Watch. How you doing, Judge? Good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning to you.
Any day you could get a federal judge's ruling in Pensacola, Florida, which challenges health care reform there.
Right.
Any day a judge in Michigan could make a move on a group that's challenging the law in Michigan.
Right.
In 2 weeks, the Attorney General in Virginia goes back before a judge on an argument that he already made before a federal judge, and that argument held up to date. Which of these lawsuits or another one do you think stands the best chance of winning?
The same challenges have been made in each of these lawsuits, and the most potent challenge, or stated differently, the biggest weakness in Obamacare is the obligation of what's called the individual mandate. The government forcing you to purchase something that you may not want or you don't need. That particular challenge is in all three of the cases that you mentioned: Richmond, Virginia, Pensacola, Florida, and Detroit, Michigan. I suspect that all three judges will rule on that. I suspect that all three judges will find it unconstitutional. They will not stop the government from enforcing it because it doesn't come into play until 2014. But those decisions will be appealed by the government to intermediate appellate courts and eventually to the U.S. Supreme Court.
To break it down the way you analyze it now, you agree with the Justice Department attorneys who say you can't debate this thing or argue this thing because it's not even in effect yet.
No, I disagree with the Justice Department attorneys because it is inevitable that it will come into effect. But what I mean is there will be once a judge finds this part of Obamacare unconstitutional, it's not going to change anything because this part of Obamacare is not the law yet. It will just be a paper determination. If the Supreme Court rules it unconstitutional, then it will never become law in 2014.
Okay, all right. So we're waiting on all these decisions. And again, it could come at any moment.
Right.
And I know you're on standby for the call when it happens. In the meantime, roll this now. We're getting a lot of questions about health care. It's been that way for a year and a half. John Mattel writes, has there ever been a time in U.S. history in which so many states have sued the federal government? It goes back a long time. The answer is?
The answer is no. Usually when the Congress wants the states to do something they don't want to do, like lower the speed limit or lower the blood alcohol content before a determination of drunk driving, it bribes the states. It pays them for it. It paves their highways in return for the states lowering the speed limit. In this case, the Congress didn't pay for it. It did the opposite. It said to the states, you raise the money and we'll tell you how to spend it.
Okay, and now there are those who argue that if they can force you to buy health care, they can force you to buy a car from General Motors.
I think that's a perfectly legitimate argument. They can force you to put your money in a government-owned bank. That's the reason that I think that these federal judges in Michigan, Virginia, and Florida will all find that the Constitution does not give the power to the Congress to force you to buy anything. Can it make you wear a hat when it's sunny out because it's where you're going to get skin cancer? Answer, no.
Thanks, Judge.
Pleasure,
See you on
Bill.
Freedom Watch, okay?
You got it.
All right.